Hi, hope this finds you well. It's our little granddaughter's first birthday this month, and her Uncle Edward decided it would be rather lovely to buy her some books as a present. And one of them is called The Worrysaurus, and it's about a little dinosaur called Worrysaurus who one day decides to go for a picnic. And the sun is shining, and he's really looking forward to the day ahead. But as he walks along, it says he starts to overthink. And he starts to think, what if I haven't got enough food? What if I haven't got enough to drink? What if I get lost? And then, to make matters worse, a lizard appears and he says, there's going to be a storm. And it points out that there's not a cloud in the sky and the sun is actually still shining. However, this sends Worrysaurus into a major meltdown, to the point where he worries so much about the storm, his knees start to turn to jelly. Now, over the past few months, we've heard a lot about fear and about worry, and that we don't have a spirit of fear and we shouldn't worry, and that is absolutely right. But why am I reminding you of it today? Well, every day we wake up and there's something new to worry about. And I've noticed that people almost don't want to talk about being worried anymore because they're fearful of being fearful, and they're worried about being worried because we shouldn't be like that. Well, that's true. But actually, we need to acknowledge when we're worried. I always find it rather lovely that the Bible talks so much about worry and fear, because it's like God knows that we live in a challenging world, and that us as humans, this is something that we have to face and we have to overcome. And he gives us the tools to do that. As with grief or fear or unforgiveness, if worry becomes a lifestyle, that's when it becomes a problem. You often find that people that have major anxiety or deep-rooted fears, if you go back, the root is generally a small worry that they've had in the past. If we acknowledge the small worries, then actually the big fears have nothing to feed from. So if you've read the news today and you're worried, if you have a bill that's come in that's a bit steeper than you'd thought, if you're worried about a family member, anything like that, if you're worried about your job, here's some handy tips that I have found are actually quite helpful. Firstly, worship. Put on that worship music as loudly as you can and dance around your kitchen or your living room or wherever. Put it on in the car and sing your lungs out, and it's even better if you open the windows so everybody can hear. Dance as if no one is watching. Sing as if no one is listening, because you know that God is. 1 Peter 5 verse 7 in the Passion Translation says, pour out all your worries and stress upon him and leave them there, for he always tenderly cares for you. If we actually learn to talk to God as much as we talk to ourselves, we would get much further. And what do I mean by that? Well, whatever you're thinking is actually a conversation that you're having with yourself. Turn those private conversations and those private thoughts into a conversation with God. So here's a practical example taken from personal experience. Standing by the kitchen sink, you start to think, I've got to get on the underground to go to work. I've got to wear a mask. Of a certain age, and I get really, really hot really easily, and I just know I'm really going to struggle with this mask. I'm going to get all hot and bothered, and if I take it off, people will tell me off, and I'll get a fine. Know the kind of thing? Well, if you actually turn that round and say, Lord, do you know what? I'm actually starting to feel really worried about that journey. You know I get really hot, and you know the effect that has on me. I'm sorry for worrying about this, and I just thank you that I know you've gone ahead of me on that journey. You will be with me on that journey, and you will help me to get through it. I know I can trust you, and I thank you that I can relax into your loving care. And then leave it there. Refuse to pick it up. If you find yourself picking it up again, follow the shampoo bottle instructions, rinse and repeat. Keep saying to God, I'm really sorry, this is coming back, etc., etc. Memorise a scripture that will help you. So there's a whole variety of them. There's Isaiah 41 verse 10, Isaiah 40 verse 31, John 14 verse 1. Put them on the wall, put them on your fridge, keep them by your bed, and the last thing at night declare them, and first thing in the morning declare them again. Talk to a trusted, godly friend. It says in Ecclesiastes 4, 2 are better than one, because they have a good return for their labour. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Remember the little worrysaurus? Well, the story continues with him remembering some wise words from his mother, and he makes the decision that he's going to chase his fears away. Him and the lizard become friends, and they share the picnic. And it says that they laugh at their fears and at their worrying. One of the last lines in that book says, when you're in the moment, there's no need to run or hide. Concentrate on today, and tomorrow will take care of itself. And don't forget, you're not a worrysaurus, you're a warriorsaurus.